The fork drops down a couple of inches once you remove the top bearing lock nut. Okay, you can see here the bearings, the lower bearings. There's some dirt, but the bearings look fine. So I'm just going to clean them up and re-grease them and stick this back up. Okay? It's missing some grease, but I don't see a need to change them at this point. Nice to know that I can, but I won't today. So we're just going to wipe this down. I'm lifting the bearings off and I'm cleaning the race underneath. Okay, and the shaft, cleaning all that and get off any excess grease. There we go. And the bearings, and then I'll put some new grease, bearing grease on. There. So now we got a nice clean bearing that looks really quite nice. Doesn't seem to be anything wrong with them, so I'm not going to change them, and I got myself an extra set of bearings for when I do have to change them. So now what I'll do is grease them. Okay, so we got some blue grease from Scooter West, and we'll try and get some underneath them. I'll wrap it around like that. Wrap it all in there. I guess you could have too much grease, but I don't think I want to prevent this from happening again. So there. I think that's good.
I put more, double that.
Okay. So we'll put some more. And we'll get it all greased up. Really good.
You're gonna dab on the side of your finger on the inside, so just wipe it off on the bearing.
Yeah.
There, that looks better.
In here. And that's that. And then up on the race. Which looks fine. Race is clean up there, yeah. So I'll just do that. There we go. I think that's good, no?
Looks good.
Okay. So, then we'll stick that back up, I guess.
It's about 3 times more than on my bike.
Oh yeah?
When I took it apart.
Okay. Well.
It was half dry.
Really? So we looked at the bearings and we just cleaned them up. And they look pretty good. So what we're going to do is put some grease. We cleaned both sides of this race. And what we're going to do is put some grease on and then put it back. Clean both sides, and basically we're going to take some grease and put it on this side of the rack here. Get it in there. Okay, and then we're going to grease up the bearings very carefully. On the outside, everywhere. Be careful you don't knock a bearing out of this rack, and we'll stick it in there. And we're pretty much ready to bring that steering back up. I don't think I can have too much grease, so I'm just going to put a little bit more here so that when the top goes, there's grease on there. And we'll put some.
Now this is your race here, right? Yeah.
We'll put some on the race on the top here. Like that. And that's going to sit like that and get screwed in. So let me wash up and then we'll do the next step. Okay, this is when a helper is needed. Definitely we're going to push the wheel up. That's it. Up, up, up. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, hang on. And we're going to screw this back on. And there we have it. So now we're going to be able to torque this sucker to the proper spec. And then we'll lock it in. Okay. Yeah. It only goes one. Can you move that straight? It only goes one way. Yeah, that's the straight way. Okay. Yeah, okay. Okay. Got it. Okay. Okay, now all we have to do is torque it to the spec. Okay, so now we got it, and all we're going to do is torque it. So the torque value says 12 to 14. I've got it set to 14. So we'll see what that does. That's it.
No, you're off it.
Yeah, but it's
Get the
torqued.
nut on. It's not on the slots. There. You're over 14.
So I'm at 14. And then the next piece that goes on a certain way, this way. You can't put it on wrong because there's a little slot there. Okay, so that lock washer, that lock nut has to be torqued to 45, which is a lot stronger than she's gonna fall down.
Okay.
Can't torque it. There we go, 45. So now we're going to do everything we just did in reverse. So we'll put this sleeve back on to protect the bearing, like that. And now we just got to put the handlebars back on. So that's the little tricky part. So we're just going to sit on it and we're going to bring it up slowly. Without anything breaking, get that piece under. And it's important to keep the wires on the right side of everything because we're going to need those wires after. And then basically we're going to get that in its spot there. Those wires, and once that's in place we just snap it in. And we're almost there. So we're just going to, could you hold the front wheel there between your legs? I'm just going to wiggle it. Get it in. There we go. And then all we have to do is put the bolt in and tighten her up. So everything goes in reverse order now. Okay, so now all we have to do is center this, and we're going to have to tighten it to 45 to 50 Newton meters, which is what we're going to try to do. Now there's a little notch there that you can see when you're straight. So if you're looking down, you'll see a notch, and it should be straight like that. So what we'll do is we'll tighten it just a bit so that we can straighten it one more time without it moving. There. So we should be able to move it just a bit And I think she's straight, so now we're going to torque it. And one more chance. There. So she should be straight. And torqued. And back together again. There we go. So now we got to make sure we got all the wires, everything is out of the way and nicely done.
And pulled up a little bit so you have more slack.
A bit more slack. And now we put it back together the same way in a reverse order that we put it. So the first thing, we're going to put those 3 screws in, right? So we're going to get this piece in its spot, and we're going to put those 3 screws in there. Okay, so we put the 3 screws in, and I guess we're getting ready to put this back. So the first thing we're going to do is screw this on, and before we do that, we're just going to put a little bit of grease into the speedometer cable and put a little grease on the O-ring before we do anything. So let's take just put it inside here. The grease in there.
Might put it in there.
In here, okay. So
End up a lot easier.
We're just gonna put a little grease in here.
That's it, you got it.
And so we just put a little bit of grease because that's going to snap in. And I'm just going to touch it with my hand and grease up this O-ring a little bit for the seal. And then what we'll do is we'll put this back on. So we screwed this on. We screwed the 3 screws. Now we're going to have that tight little workspace where we have to put the plug into the circuit board and the cable on, and we're almost done on this part of the job. Okay, what the hell? Let's try it, eh? So, first of all, we got the cable here, and we got the circuit board here. So the circuit board goes here. There. Did you hear the snap?
Alright, that was a nice snap.
That was a nice snap.
The one
All we
looking
need
for.
to do is get the same one for the speedometer cable. We'll just stick that in. There.
Good.
Stick that O-ring up.
You're in both sides.
Yep. So I think last time the cable was too short, but maybe we're going to be missing some down here.
I pulled it up a little bit. That's.
Oh my god.
And now it should go back down.
Oh yeah, okay. Okay, so that's done. So then we put this side in.
Oh yeah, that's that.
Snap. And pretty much it. Make sure all the cables are out properly. And now we're going to tighten this once we got the right cable adjustment. We'll just pull this down a bit. And that's that. So we're just going to put the screws back into there. And don't forget to tighten these 2 that clamp. Okay, so now the last thing we've got to do is tighten those 2 screws to hold the cables. So we want to tighten those. And this one. There we go, nice and tight, so those cables stay clamped. And then, last but not least, we're going to stick this back on. So once you've got everything back together, we can put the windshield on. But I want to make a little note. Because this brake was hanging down, okay, there's a good possibility that the two little electrical connectors in here came off. I don't know if mine did yet because my hub is off and the brakes are there, so I don't want to squeeze any brakes. But what'll happen is that once I get this on, we'll test it. But if you go to squeeze the brake to start the bike and it doesn't start, and you squeeze the brake and you notice that your lights aren't working, all you have to do is remove this little boot and plug in two little plug wires and then put the boot back on. Very simple. First time it happened to me, I almost freaked out. I thought I did something wrong inside, but it was only these two little connectors. So I just mentioning that because if you remember, they were hanging down and that probably came loose. I'm probably going to have to do it again, and if I do, then I'll take a video of it.